Thanks, Cahirlock. Yeah, it's very good that we have this debate every year about the importance of science, and the government, to my mind, pays lip service largely to the importance of science, but does not then actually translate it in reality into backing science, encouraging those who are working in the area of science, research and development. Now, what is my evidence for saying that? Well, first of all, there is the PhD researchers and the plight of about 10 to 12,000 PhD researchers who in recent years have felt compelled to organise themselves into a union through the Postgraduate Workers' Organisation. Some of their demands also articulated by unions in the third level sector like IFUT and so on, who have explained about the poverty that they suffer. And it is really quite incredible. And it's very important to suggest that note that our public universities are held together literally by postgrad researchers and by academic staff who are on part-time contracts, on effectively if and when contracts, living on very, very low pay with almost no rights as workers. In the case of PhD researchers, literally no rights as workers. They're not recognised as workers, but they hold together our universities, our research, our third-level education system. Without them, we wouldn't have those things. But we treat them in a really shameful way. Because of their campaigning, the government was forced to raise up to, in most cases, a minimum stipend level of €25,000. But that is still minimum wage for people who are highly educated and supposed to be, the cutting edge. They are the basis on which we educate our young people, give them third-level education, and engage in the research that really counts. But they live on minimum wage. It's absolutely outrageous. And that compares with our European counterparts, where you are talking about more like 30, 40, and in some cases €50,000 for doing what are actually real jobs. So we are exploiting the people who do the research, who do the science, and who teach our young people in third level education. I would say about 50% of those who work in universities are living in sort of precarity of one sort or another, or not even recognised as workers. And of course, then there is just the barriers that we put in the way of accessing higher education more generally, most notably third-level fees and fees for postgraduate degrees, all of which are barriers to people actually getting into higher levels of education and into areas of research and innovation, which will put us at the cutting edge that we keep saying we're trying to put ourselves at. And this is borne out in overall figures. The average spend in Europe in the area of research is 3%. We spend about 1.7 to 1.9, significantly lower. This is the land of saints and scholars, but not many saints, in my opinion, and we're definitely not looking after the scholars in this area. But do we give money to some? Well, the answer is yes, because when we say things like get rid of postgraduate fees, give them decent stipends, treat them as workers, get rid of third-level fees, people say, oh, sure, where's that coming from? The socialist magic money tree. But we couldn't actually do that. We cost it every year. It would cost to get rid of the postgraduate and mature repeating students' fees, cost €100 million. To give a stipend to all PhD researchers of at least €30,000 a year would cost €225 million. And to close the funding gap and maintain existing level of funding would cost about €355 million. And you think, oh, that's quite a lot of money. But you know how much we give out to the big multinational corporations in research and development grants every year? Last year, €1.4 billion. That was up from the previous year of €1.1 billion, up 400 million from the previous year, of 700 million, up another 400 million each year, and so on. That's not even examined in the budget. And most people don't bother to look at tax expenditures, which are the shadow budget in this country, the shadow giveaways to the big multinationals already, who are making absolutely astronomical profits. And what are they researching? Right, what are they researching? Well, they might be researching, I don't know, iPhone version 15 for Bill Gates or Elon Musk or, the billionaires and trillionaires, to further boost their profits, which are going through the roof. That's where the money is going. Money that should be going into the universities, that should be going into getting rid of fees for students, that should be going into our postgraduate researchers, that should be going into our poorly paid, precariously employed academic staff, to actually boost this state's ability to engage in cutting-edge research and to put ourselves at the sort of higher levels of education that would really develop domestically our economy, our own capacities. No, we're handing it out in another massive giveaway to the billionaires of this world, who are largely located in the United States and are now the cheerleaders for Donald Trump. That's what's actually going on. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. We could be the country, not sort of saints, we'll never manage that one, but we could do the scholars bit in a serious way if we redirected even half of what we're giving away in tax reliefs, in the research and development tax reliefs, to a tiny group, probably 10, 15 big multinationals. Right? And they are making so much profits. The idea that they would all be running out of the country is nonsense. Because that's only one of the tax reliefs they're getting. They're getting enormous tax reliefs, again, which we detail every single year in our budget. Intra-group transactions, another tax expenditure, 4.4 billion last year to the same companies. Losses. They get tax breaks on the losses they make, so they can carry them forward, and when they make profits, they don't pay tax the next year. 2.4 billion euro last year. In total, these big multinationals, guess how much they get in tax breaks each year? 22 billion euro. It's flipping enormous. It's a scandal, and it's almost never discussed. Before they pay any tax. They get these tax loopholes. So they don't actually pay 12.5% or 15% or anything even like it. Where ordinary workers, of course, are paying 20% or 30% or 40% of their income or more. These fellows are paying 6, 7, 8%, some of them paying, as we know, less than 1%, but making astronomical profits. So I say, in a choice between enriching Apple, Google, Facebook, already spectacularly profit pharmaceutical companies to research stuff that, in the most part, in a lot of cases, we don't need at all, is of little benefit to us, in some cases actually doing damage to our society. Wouldn't it be better to redirect that money towards our researchers, towards our young people to access higher level education, towards our public universities, to actually advance science, research and innovation? It's a no-brainer, but it requires putting people and our society before profit.
Thank you very much. And